Remember when summer felt endless? When those 3 months stretched out like a whole lifetime, filled with bike rides, ice cream trucks, and fireflies at dusk? Each day was an adventure, a new story waiting to be written. But now, as an adult, a whole year can fly by in what feels like a blink. Summer comes and goes, seasons blur into one another, and you find yourself wondering, where did all the time go? It's not just you. This feeling is a universal human experience, and the reason behind it is a fascinating journey into the very wiring of our brains. Why does time seem to accelerate as we age? The answer isn't about clocks or calendars, but about memory, novelty, and the story our mind tells itself. So, let's dive into the psychology of it all. Our brain doesn't have a dedicated clock for measuring the passage of long stretches of time. Instead, it gauges time based on the number of new memories we form. Think of your childhood. Almost everything was new. Your first day of school, learning to ride a bike, seeing the ocean for the first time. Each of these experiences was a rich, detailed memory packed with sensory information, emotions, and new learning. Your brain was constantly encoding new data, creating a dense library of moments. When you look back, you're mentally scrolling through this vast collection of unique memories, and the sheer volume makes that period feel incredibly long and substantial. The more new memories you make in a given period, the longer that period will feel in retrospect. Now, contrast that with adulthood. For many of us, life settles into a routine. We wake up, commute the same way, work a similar job, eat familiar foods, and see the same people. Our brain, being incredibly efficient, loves routine. It automates these familiar actions, so they require very little conscious thought or mental energy. The problem is, when experiences are routine, they don't get recorded as distinct new memories. 100 drives to work can blend into a single, generic memory of driving to work. The days, weeks, and months blur together because they lack the unique memory markers that would make them stand out. It's like flipping through a photo album where every picture is almost identical. The calendar pages keep turning, but our internal record book remains largely empty. This is why a routine-filled year can feel so short when we look back on it. There's simply less to remember. Let's get a bit more scientific and talk about the chemistry and physics of our internal clock. One key player is a neurotransmitter you've probably heard of, dopamine. Dopamine is linked to our motivation, reward system, and also our perception of time. When we experience something new and exciting, our brain releases a rush of dopamine. This chemical surge not only makes us feel good, but it also signals our internal clock to speed up, making time in the moment seem to pass more quickly. However, and this is the crucial part, it also enhances memory consolidation. So, even though that exciting vacation day felt like it flew by, it created strong, vivid memories. Later, when you recall that day, the richness of the memory makes the time feel longer in hindsight. As we age, our dopamine levels naturally decline. This can lead to a dual effect. Time in the moment can feel slower and more tedious, but with less dopamine to tag experiences as important and new, we form fewer distinct memories, making time feel faster when we look back. There's also the matter of neural processing speed. Think of your brain like a computer processor. When you're young, your neural pathways are firing at lightning speed. You can absorb and process information incredibly quickly. This high processing rate means you're taking in a huge amount of data every second. It's like watching the world in super high definition slow motion. You notice more details, feel more sensations, and think more thoughts within a single minute. As we get older, our neural processing speed naturally slows down. The world seems to speed up relative to our ability to process it. We're taking in less information per unit of time, so from our brain's perspective, less is happening. This contributes to the feeling that time is slipping through our fingers more quickly than it used to. Another fascinating idea is called the proportional theory of time. It's quite simple, really. When you are 10 years old, 1 year is 10% of your entire life. That is a massive chunk of your existence. It feels enormous because it is, proportionally speaking. You can't even remember a time when you weren't 10, but when you are 50 years old, 1 year is just 2% of your life. It's a much smaller fraction of your total experience. Each new year that passes represents a progressively smaller portion of your life so far. So, naturally, it feels shorter and less significant. From this mathematical perspective, the acceleration of time is an unavoidable consequence of living longer. Each day, each month, each year is a smaller and smaller slice of the ever-expanding pie of your life. It is a simple but profound shift in perspective that changes how we experience the flow of our own timeline. This brings us to a more emotional realization. The compression of time isn't just a trick of the mind. It has a deep emotional impact. When we feel like time is speeding up, it's often because our lives have become predictable. Routine is comfortable and safe, but it is the enemy of memory. It robs our days of their uniqueness. We fall into patterns, and the richness of the present moment gets lost in the haze of habit. We start living on autopilot. Think about a rainy afternoon. As a child, you might have spent hours watching the raindrops race down the window pane, lost in a world of your own creation. Each drop had a story. Now, as an adult, a rainy day might just be an inconvenience, a background noise to your busy schedule. We stop noticing the small wonders because our minds are occupied with to-do lists and responsibilities. This shift from presence to preoccupation is what makes the years feel hollow and short. We aren't just losing time, we're losing the experience of time. The feeling of time slipping away is really a feeling of life becoming less memorable. So, are we doomed to feel life fly by faster and faster until it's over? Absolutely not. The science of time perception doesn't just explain the problem, it hands us the solution. If routine and a lack of new memories are what speed up time, then the key to slowing it down is to actively fight against them. The secret is novelty. You don't have to quit your job and travel the world, although that would certainly work. You can inject novelty into your life in small, meaningful ways. Take a different route to work. Try a new recipe for dinner. Learn a new skill, like playing an instrument or a new language. Pick up a new hobby. Visit a park or a museum in your own city that you've never been to before. Each of these new experiences, no matter how small, forces your brain out of autopilot. It forces you to pay attention, to learn, and to create a new and distinct memory. Beyond seeking novelty, the other powerful tool we have is presence, mindfulness. It's about consciously anchoring yourself in the now. Instead of letting your mind drift while you're drinking your morning coffee, actually taste the coffee. Feel the warmth of the mug. Notice the steam rising. When you're walking outside, don't just rush to your destination. Look at the sky, feel the breeze, listen to the sounds of the city or of nature. By engaging your senses and paying full attention to the present moment, you are feeding your brain the rich, detailed data it needs to build a strong memory. You are turning a mundane moment into a memorable one. This practice of being present doesn't magically add more hours to the day, but it fills the hours you have with more life. It stretches time from the inside out. Ultimately, the feeling of time is subjective. It is a story we tell ourselves. By understanding the psychology and neuroscience behind it, we gain the power to become the authors of that story. We can't stop the clock from ticking, but we can change our perception of its pace. We can choose to live lives that are rich with new experiences, filled with presence, and packed with memories. By doing so, we don't just make our lives feel longer, we make them fuller, more vibrant, and more meaningful. We can reclaim that feeling of an endless summer, not by going back in time, but by changing how we live in the time we have right now. Create new memories, be present, break the routine, and you will find that you can, in a very real way, slow down time. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing for more journeys into the deep mind.